Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rakak, Wadash, Mama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan, Banyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Atwafium, and children, Bunyam, that believe in truth and sincerity. It's your brother, I thank you Allah, back to you another lesson. And your heart is edifying. I want to highlight this No Jumper podcast, all right? And this is a fair use act, all right? It's all for edification purposes. It's not for monetary gain. That's not what we in this for. But hopefully this brother that runs this page, you're going to see on the lower left of the screen, he pretty much put this No Jumper podcast out there on the West Coast that this WACK100 guy be on. The Captain Tazaryayach done went on, and the Guerrilla Hebrews has been frequent there as recent with his shenanigans. Pretty much they entice all type of niggerdom, right? Wickedness, all right? The gang violence, the unalivings, that's what they're about. That's what they promote. That's what they run for content, all right? Wickedness. Ultimately trying to put Jake in the trick bag, all right? The guy WACK100 is a guy, if you don't know, that's been a part of a lot of RICOs, all right? Helping the FBI and helping them conglomerate RICOs. One on this guy named Eugene Henry, alias by Big U, supposed to have been a community activist leader, ex-gang member, ex-Crip or something like that. And he's a part of an indictment recent. The rappers, so on and so forth, a part of their indictments, and he's always in people business. All right, and when people come to this podcast, just like the other culture vulture, DJ Vlad, they tend to go to jail or something happens to him. All right. Pretty much this is the intel Esau is doing and his minions that help him. All right. That help to prepare that table. You know, 2/3 of our people, as WACK is more than likely a Jake. All right. An Israelite, according to the Bible. All right. It's not a religion. It's our lineage. All right. And hopefully this brother who highlights the No Jumper podcast and do videos on them as he see the niggerdom for what it is. All right. He can keen in on this truth and grow some understanding, all right, and hopefully work towards his salvation, all right, because this place is almost through, all right, and that's why we're in a Cointelpro revamp era. That's why we're in the new era, new age, modern day Cointelpro, all right, to where they're gonna come after the prophets. Most importantly, Revelations 12 and 12. You have Trump speaking on sending the National Guard into cities that don't even need it. It's not much of violence as it like it was back in the lockdowns, all right, in those times, all right. A lot of people are just barely hanging on. It's more so depression than anger out here in the streets, all right, because this devil is ruling, and ultimately the Lord is getting ready to take his system and him out of the way, all right. And those who are going to be saved are the Israelites of the Holy Bible, and it's an election within that, all right. 144,000 men and a 1/3 men, women, and children of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. And those are the speckled bird who may think they're other nations, but they're not. All right, because everybody is not going to be the same color due to the mixing and mingling of the past captivities. All right, according to Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 9, the Lord heritage is of a speckled bird. All right, so due to those mixing and mingling of past captivities, we're not all going to look the same. We're not all going to look like Shaft. Some of us is going to be melanated. Some of us is not going to be as melanated, just like Northern Kingdom, the Spanish-speaking tribes. All right, so it's a lot to learn of. It's a lot to know. All right, but it's all a part of our way out of this hellhole, this low condition of a place, America, that's going to be destroyed off the face of the earth. All right. But hey, Esau has to do his work. He has to do his number on our people to get as much as our people to go down to judgment with him. All right. And this is what they do. All right. Try to put our people in the trick bag. Now, peep this. This guy, WACK100, this guy, this individual pretty much, and I'm going to grab some scriptures, of course. All right. But this is a rundown. Okay. As they're getting ready to run down, or they think they're going to get ready to run down on the prophets. All right, this is what they're practicing for. All right, this is what these Ricos or these quote unquote celebrities, the Diddies, all this is to really put the stamp when they come after the true men of the Lord, man, the end all be all, right? But what the Lord say, man, you know, you want to stand trial 10 days, man. You know, that 10 representing just that amount of time, right? Because he's going to deliver thee in these times, all right? Divine intervention, spiritual power, okay? But the individual who run this channel, all right, he's pretty much highlighting the no jumper shenanigans and how this dude WACK100 had ended up pulling up to some other dude, this Jake, who is wayward or whatever. He pulled up to his podcast setting as an Uber driver, snuck past his security and kind of pulled them out and set them up for a podcast. So they was analyzing it. But peep this.
All right, continue. What the fuck, bro? You spotted him, not me, bro. Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering. It's matching my outfit. Hey, what? Yo, listen, hold on. UFC, nigga, you did 10 years in the shoe. Listen, so look. I was about to say that. We not even going to go through all that. Yo, listen, right so, now. Come on. So, I called Captain Tazaryayach because I couldn't remember. And his name has always been a respectable name when it comes to, like, the West Coast, who our Israelites are, right? Mm-hmm. For speakers.
He mentions Captain Tazaryayach right away. One of the first scriptures I want to get is the book of Proverbs. And verse 2. I started verse 1 just to get the whole point. It's Proverbs 27:1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Now, Captain Tazaryayach, he seems like a humble dude, outside of him selling his snake oils and being about the money, right? Which you're not supposed to be making filthy lucre off the Lord, right? It's supposed to just be about teaching, being about sincerity, all right? The elect, ultimately, right? The hopefully elect, them reaching the elect, teaching the elect for we to get out of here, for us to get out of here ultimately, right? So he's not like a boastful type of guy or energy or spirit, but this is verse 2. Let another man praise thee and not thine own mouth, right? And this is what WACK100 is doing. But WACK100 is not in the circumference of things as far as the Israelite community, as far as righteousness, all right, as far as being holy, being separate from the world, all right? He's a man of the world, all right? So if you want a man to praise thee, you want a man ultimately to praise you with the understanding of this truth, not with the worldly mindset. This is Proverbs 27:2. Let another man praise thee, and not thy own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips, right? So, hey, it's good for another man to praise you, but he's not praising you for the righteous things, for teaching the Lord's words. He's praising you for the worldly things, for being a friend, all right? Homeboy. And again, as the scriptures say, man, every bird is going to flock to his kind, just as in the days of Noah, all right, in the times of Genesis. With that being said, I want to get Genesis chapter 6 and verse 20, just to get a point, all right? All right, because this is around the time where the Lord was telling Noah to bring two of all kind into the ark before the destruction, all right? The destruction of waters, all right? And we know that what the rainbow represent, that he's not going to flood the earth again, but he's going to bring fire. That was his promise to Noah. That was Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, promise to Noah, right? And ultimately, we waiting on that day for him to send his son, Yahweh Shai, and the spirit of those missiles backed by Michael, all right, the top archangel in the heavenly hosts meaning armies, all right, the rest of the angels, the rest of the elect, all right, ultimately being the spirit of those missiles to get busy, right, and to save those who are hastening that day, all right, as the scriptures speak on how the righteous shall scarcely be saved, all right, but this is Genesis chapter 6 and 18, I'll start at. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, right? And this ark today is a spiritual ark, the spiritual tabernacle of King David. All right, that's what's go travel through the waves of fire. All right, that's what's go get beamed up. That's what's go ultimately be able to stand in the Lord's parlor on the sea of glass, man, and witness the destruction, be saved from the destruction. Thou and thy sons and thy wife and thy sons' wives with thee, right? And that's going to equate to the elect today, the women, the men, women, and children that's going to be saved, that believe, right? That's written to be saved. That's written in the book. It's verse 19. And of every living thing of all flesh, two of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark to keep them alive with thee, right? They shall be male and female, right? Not male and male, not female and female, right? The Lord made an outie and an innie, all right? Ultimately to bring forth fruit, more fruit, plenteous, all right? As he called us to be, fruitful, right? Verse 20, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, things of the air, things of the land, right? Of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, two of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive, right? You know, that's spiritual power there, all right? And that's ultimately going to come back, man. The animal's going to be in league with thee once again. Verse 21, and take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be, all right? And the point, just how hey, the Lord gathered everything, man. I mean, the Lord told and instructed Noah to gather two of all his kind, man. All right, just as the people, you know, ultimately for preservance. All right, and just as in the beginning, all right, as the scriptures say, man, better of it is the end of a thing than the beginning. All right, every bird is ultimately going to resort back to its kind, man, to its natural habitat, right? Just as the people, all right, you're gonna flock. Hey, like they say in the world, man, birds of a feather flock together. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 27 and verse 9. That's what I wanted. But to have the times of Noah and the understanding of what the Lord promised and how he's going to bring that destruction, all right? He flooded the earth then, but this time is this ark is going to go through the waves of fire, all right? So he promised Noah that he's not going to flood the earth again, all right? He's going to put fire upon it, and that's why he's getting ready to denuclearize the earth, all right? And America is set up as an altar. Basra, the land of the Chaldeans, right? The daughter of Babylon, mystery Babylon, that great city, all right, America. So this is back in Sirach, chapter 27, and I wanted verse 9. It says, the birds will resort unto their like, so will truth return unto them that practice in her, you know? So birds go resort unto their like, man. So birds of a feather flock together, man. If you join hand in hand with the wicked is not going unpunished, and you're gonna be unpunished with them. Just as the truth is gonna return unto them that practice in her. All right, you're gonna be complete. You're no longer gonna have to prophesy, know in part and prophesy in part. Right, you're not gonna have to teach thy neighbor.
So I want to say some shit that was off.
Hey, see, pay attention, y'all. This is what I'm saying right here. Even this, right? This is like spiritual business, God business. Won't never hear WACK100 say nothing about God, who he believe in, religion, or anything, right? This nigga is in the Hebrew Israelites business. I know we got some Hebrew Israelites in the chat and shit, right? He in Hebrew Israelite business, gang. This is what I'm telling you about WACK100. Like I had to hit Captain Taziki and tell him the thing. Why did you have to do that? Yeah. Why? What business of it is yours? You're not a Hebrew Israelite. It's that kind of stuff, y'all.
This is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters, right? You don't want to be a busybody in other men's matters, an evildoer. Even the wisest man that walked the earth, Solomon, all right? So scripture refers to how the eagle fly, roughly paraphrasing. How the eagle soar. And he compared a flying bird, all right, and how it glides in the sky, and a land animal, roughly paraphrasing, and the reason of being, compared to what another man do with his maid would be none of his business. You know, that's not knowledge he is even concerned with, roughly paraphrasing, right? And that's the wisest man to live, right? Yahweh Shai himself, right, who was Solomon in reincarnation, who was Adam, right? So you don't want to be a troublesome meddler. And that's what he is, all right? An agent of chaos. And that's what these Masons and Eastern Stars, that's what they ultimately are, the agents of chaos. They come to cause confusion, to entice the verses, the Willie Lynch, right? And that's what they're doing, helping prepare a table for that truth. This is the book of Jude, chapter 1, and I'll start at verse 1. And it says, the warnings of history to the ungodly. It says, Jude, the servants of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and brother of James, to them that are sacrificed by Yahweh the Father and preserved in Yahweh Shai Hamashiach and called, right? You know, because these are letters, you know, to individuals, to churches, you know, exhortations. Mercy unto you and peace and love be multiplied, beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, right? And that's the times that we in today. It was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints, right? You know, do the truth, just as we do these videos, or Jake's doing these vlogs, podcasts. Put that energy towards the Lord. All right. If you want to expose something, expose it the correct way. Expose it under the guidance and the laws of the Lord. All right. While giving your testimony, man. That's ultimately what's going to tally it up. That's what's going to tally the judgment up when it comes to these individuals, the heathen, particularly, and most importantly, and 2/3 of our people as well, man. Most importantly, because they got to go. They're in the way. They help and aid in the bed the massa, right? So you should want to earnestly contend for the faith, you know, was once delivered unto the saints, right? You know, for there, this verse 4, Jude 1 and 4, for there are certain men crept in unawares. And this is those who have crept in into the truth. All right. Would it be like a Captain Tazaryayach or an individual like that? Who knows, right? The Lord ultimately has that say so. All right. We praying and hoping that we're not, you know, we're hoping that we're a part of that number. All right. But then what? You have it written, man. You have some men that crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, right? The Lord is setting them up. It's a trap. Ungodly men, turning the grace of our power into lasciviousness. All right. And you go into that term lasciviousness. In the Strong's Concordance, it's derived from the Greek aselgia.
Strong's G766. Aselgaya. Aselgaya.
Aselgia. Gaia. unbridled lust, excess, all right? Ultimately just consumed in the flesh, all right? The flesh is never satisfied. It's always gonna yearn and yearn for excess, for more and more, for want. And that's that's ultimately what it means. All right, that's what lasciviousness means. All right, so they get a hold of the truth and they think they can be all they can be in Esau's world, right? They want Esau and everybody and the heathen to know that they the real Jew, right? But when it comes to the true works of the Lord, the sincerity, teaching in truth and sincerity, teaching the proper doctrine, giving off feeding the sheep the proper provender, they can't do that, right? They're the cisterns that can't hold water, roughly paraphrasing, all right? And denying the Lord God, right? Because they put themselves first. They don't deny themselves, right? It's all about money, lucre, making money off the Lord, selling your snake oils, right? And our Lord, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, man. So they deny the Lord and they deny Yahweh Shah Mashiach, man. So you deny them, they ultimately going to deny you in that day, as is written. Verse 5, I would therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, right, out of ancient Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not, right, you know. So we're in that same time today, all right, you know, marching around Jericho, you know, trying to get to the promised land, all right. It's going to be a lot of casualties along the way, a lot of falling out, all right. We just ultimately have to stay diligent and keep fighting, man. All right, this is the spiritual battle. But yeah, what is it? What is his business? Yo, it's crazy. This is the book of St. John, chapter 8 and verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, right? Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. He is a liar and a father of it. All right. So this is what 2/3 of our people, man. They are of their father, the devil. All right. So the Lord have a set them appointed to this condemnation, man. Especially a WACK 100. Like he's completely out of the loop, and he thinks he's clever. He thinks he's smart. He really thinks um, he's slick. You know, and that's what they say, man. You growing up, man, mom used to tell me, man, you don't ever think you slick, man. There's always somebody slicker. Don't ever think you bad or tough. So there's always somebody tougher. And the Lord go bring that person around in that day, you know. But when you full of pride, the Lord just lets you run rapid. You know, you spell a rod, you spoil a child, man. And show how much the Lord is not dealing with you. When you don't meet judgment, there's no exposure, right? You know, you're about the all the exposing, right? But it says what? Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust your father you will do. All right. So again, they help what? Prepare a table for that troop. That troop being what? Gad and Mene. Get that as well. All right. We're gonna go back to the book of Jude. And we was in Jude. We left off at 5, but I'm gonna jump down to verse 10 and get 10 to 13 and get a point. It's back in Jude 1 and 10. But these speak evil of those things which they know not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts, right? As just men of the world. So of course he's gonna give you accolades and applaud you because you do worldly shit amongst him. He acknowledges you as a worldly individual. That or he's trying to take your faith. In that, and I'm speaking on Captain Tazaryayach, right? So again, it says what they speak evil of things which they know not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts, right? Of what they've been taught from Esau, from the master, from the world, from their system, from circular schools and things like that. You know, you go take your worldly knowledge and try to line it up with what's going on in the truth. Your head's spinning. You don't know what you're talking about. You just want to bring up a topic because it's been circulating and you hoping it can go viral. And you can put the Hebrew Israelites under, you can put them on the forefront. And it's your form of intel. Again, it's the modern day Cointelpro, right? Again, the rumors, the whole nine. And this AI, Gemini, on Cointelpro, I just wanted to bring up what it says about it. And it says Cointelpro. And I put modern day Cointelpro to see what it would say about it in regards to what's going on in the atmosphere today. But it says Cointelpro, short for counter intelligence program, was a series of covert and often illegal FBI projects conducted from 1956 to 1971, around that time where the Lord sent us Abba Bibbins, all right, after 3 days and a half, after 350 years, all right, around approximately about 1969, 1970 is when the truth, all right, the doors are loose, when the Lord ultimately turned his face back towards us, all right, he give us John the Baptist, Elijah, Abba Bibbins, all right, and the commandment keepers, to where we have the floodgates open up the truth, all right, that we can hold this measuring tool, hold up this banner and this truth that they may enter into the gates of the nobles, right? So it says its goal was to surveil, infiltrate, discredit, and disrupt domestic political organizations that the FBI considered to be subversive. All right. So again, it said illegal FBI projects, right? Your J. Edgar Hoover. It says targeted groups included the Communist Party USA, the Socialist Workers Party, civil rights organizations, including those led by Martin Luther King Jr., right? The one who was willing to turn the other cheek. So-called BLACK nationalist groups like the BLACK Panther Party and anti-war groups. The program tactics, which were later exposed by the Church Committee in 1970, were highly controversial and included infiltration and use of informants, WACK100, DJ Vlad, the agents within the camps, the circular camps today, psychological warfare, such as creating fake letters and documents to stir up rivalries and paranoia within groups, illegal wiretapping and surveillance, harassment and intimidation, including using the tax code to target individuals, using the media, right? So what would be the point of you going down and taking anything from this devil pertaining to a system? It's gonna be a lose-lose anyway, right? Tax code, using the tax code to target individuals, using the media to spread disinformation and discredit leaders. While COINTELPRO operations officially ended, right, and that's what they practicing. But hey, with that guerrilla Hebrew, that's real. That's really what happened. All right, but it's good practice for them, right? You know. While COINTELPRO operations officially ended in 1971, the legacy of the program and the debate over whether similar tactics are used today continue. Some argue that new forms of surveillance and law enforcement practices, particularly those enacted after 9/11, bear a resemblance to the methods of COINTELPRO. Those concerns often point to, right, because after 9/11, they created what? You have Rex 84, you have the Patriot Act, to where every U.S. citizen is deemed as a domestic terrorist. And that's why Trump, what he's doing may seem to be illegal, but it's the loophole within their law, their system, to where they can play semantics with their system. They can play semantics with their law. Again, that's Psalms 94 and 20. They put forth mischief by a law. That's why he has paperwork in place and his word isn't bond. He showed his word wasn't bond with the Native Americans and Seminole Indians, taking and breaking every treaty except for the taking of their land and giving them smallpox. He's a devil. Devil going into diablos, meaning deceiver. And that's the spirit on the left-hand side of the Father, and ultimately the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan is the so-called Caucasian race, the nation of Edom. The expansion of government surveillance powers through legislation like the USA Patriot Act, boom, right there. The creation of blackout BIE, and we was under the Southern Poverty Law Center list, so on and so forth. Classifications by the FBI, which some see as a modern echo of the BE and Bleed Nationals groups, right? Labels used during the Cointelpro era. Right, and that's what they start off with: hate speech, anti-Semitic, stuff like that, right? So this is what we know, and they sell out for filthy lucre.
I called Captain Tazaryayach because I couldn't remember. And his name has always been a respectable name when it comes to like the West Coast, who our Israelites are, right? For speakers. So I want to say some shit that was off.
Hey, see, pay attention, y'all. This is what I'm saying right here. Even this, right? This is like spiritual business, God business. Won't never hear Racker Henry say nothing about God, who he believe in, religion, or anything, right? This nigga is in the Hebrew Israelites business. I know we got some Hebrew Israelites in the chat and shit, right? He in Hebrew Israelite business, gang. This is what I'm telling you about Racker and Henry. Like I had to hit Captain Taziki and tell him the thing. Why did you have to do that? Yeah. Why? Yeah. What business of it is yours? Yeah. You're not a Hebrew Israelite. It's that kind of stuff, y'all. It's that kind of stuff. It's that kind of energy. This is the thing too, right? I said that about the Guerrilla Hebrew subject when we went over it, because we did that too in the on a live. And my thing is like, yo, to each his own. I may not agree with none of that shit, but yo, his private business is his private business. That was exposed for us. That's not right. Point blank, period. That's not okay. What are you going on here bringing it back up again? Like, bro, that, you know what I'm saying, bro? Yeah. Bro, up there on the show, he trying to get on the no jumper cast, whatever, you feel me? And this what you, it's just corny as hell. Meanwhile, you got all kind of shit on your jacket, bro. Literally. Sitting there wearing a sweatsuit.
It's a play. And I end off with this. This is Isaiah 65 and verse 11. But ye are they that forsake the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And this is 2/3 of our people, right? Who they rather play devil's advocate. That forget my holy mountain. That prepare a table for that troop. All right, and that troop again going in the idols, Gad and many in those times, in the time of Isaiah. All right, representing manifest destiny and prosperity. And that's all the people really care about here. How to get rich, quick schemes, right? Living lavishly, lasciviousness. Isaiah 65:11 from the top. But ye are they that forsake the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number, right? The drink offering unto that number. All right. It's a scripture say, give a man strong drink who's ready to perish. All right. You want to be a part of the small number, the remnant, the election, not the number of the multitude, the masses, the world. Verse 12, therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not, right? You wanted to be a sellout. You chose the other side. You went against the grain. You wanted to be anti-Yahushai, right? You wanted to be an antichrist, an anti-anointed, Because Christ ultimately mean Hamashiach in the Hebrew, meaning anointed, right? He was against the anointed. Isaiah 65:13, therefore thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed, man, right? Because we coming into some perilous times, man. Times of destruction, times of this devil, this system. Your massa is coming to an end. All right. So when he coming in, when your hand join hand with him, you are gonna be coming to an end with him. All right. And those who have loved not their lives, all right, who went into the house of mourning and not the house of mirth, it's ultimately gonna eat at the end. Shalom, Hapatah, DT, and to the next one.